next exercise that we're going to do is Cobra on elbows. And Cobra on elbows, as ever with all of these exercises, are doing a number of different things to your body. But the main thing that we are testing when we do Cobra on elbows is your body's ability to retract your scapula, depress your scapula, and extend your thoracic spine. So most people, because of being at desks, being in cars, being on sofas, are stuck in a position where they are hunched forward in thoracic flexion. Their shoulder blades are kind of slipping around outside the front of their body in scapular protraction, and the shoulders are up by the ears as well, like this in most people. This is a more common posture than seeing people that have got shoulders that are really sort of far down their back and stuff like that. So Cobra is testing the opposite range of movement at the shoulder blade to how most people are stuck most of the time. It can be really quite hard, even though it looks simple. The other difficult thing about Cobra is it's one that's often done in like yoga classes or other types of exercise classes, but it's often really poorly executed and people aren't getting the response from the exercise in the way that they should do. So we're going to do our golfer's grip, which you did in your arm circles previously. So do make a mental note of that golfer's grip. We've got to try and keep these hands nice and tight. So if you have floppy hands, you will lose the momentum through your arms and you won't get as much reaction at the shoulder. The hands need to stay tight in order to help the shoulders wake up and change. We're going to come to the floor like this. And you're going to have your pigeon-toed feet like you've had in modified floor block previously. And you are trying to keep your rib cage on the floor. So Cobra is not an exercise about how high up you can go, because if you're just focusing on how high up you can go, can you see here how I'm actually still thoracically flexed? My shoulder blades are protracted and my shoulder blades are not depressed. They're not being pulled back and down behind me. What we are testing for is this range of movement, and hopefully you can see the difference there. It's not about how high I can go. It's about me pulling my shoulder blades back and down behind me. And for most people, this is going to feel much, much, much more difficult than this. And if we're doing this correctly, we're also not going to get lower back pain. So Cobra, once again, is a hip extension exercise. And if you're just doing that and pushing out of your shoulders, what's happening here is your thoracic spine is stiff. Your body probably already can't extend your hips very well. And therefore, it's very common in this that people get lower back pain or they get neck pain because they're trying to crack their head around like this, trying to get the extension that should be happening at the thoracic spine, and all of the weight of their body is really sinking into that stiff lower back position there. Really focus on dropping into that chest, okay? So the rib cage stays grounded. The hands are tight. From the front, what we are doing is we are keeping our elbows nice and snug into our body, and the elbows are going to be slightly further in front of you, ever so slightly, than your shoulder blades, because what it's going to help you do is to create this movement. Can you see there what I'm doing? I'm drawing my chest through forwards onto the ground, and I'm pulling my shoulder blades strongly back and down behind me. If this exercise feels easy, you're not doing it right. Okay, so this is by no means a passive exercise. We are using our hands, our arms, and our shoulders to drag our our chest forwards. The lower body stays relaxed. So the feet are switched off, legs are switched off, bottom is switched off. The spine should not hurt. I'll walk you through something if your spine does hurt. The lower back should not hurt. And if your lower back is hurting, you're not moving your shoulder blades enough. You're trying to go up too high. Hands are active, elbows shoulder width apart but slightly further forwards than your shoulders. At no point do your shoulders come forward of your elbows, because that will keep you in that hunched position like that. So we draw our chest through using the traction of our forearms against the floor. We squeeze our shoulder blades back and down behind us. So not only are we trying to draw our shoulder blades together, which is retraction of the scapula of the shoulder blade, It's also depression of the shoulder blades. So I'm quite good at retracting my shoulder blades, but they want to be up by my ears. I have to really focus on depressing my shoulder blades and cranking them down as far away from my ears as possible. The head and the neck stays relaxed. The feet, the legs and the bottom stay relaxed. The only parts of my body here that are working super hard are my hands, my arms and my shoulder blades really. And my upper back, I don't really feel a stretch here, but for some of you, you might feel quite a lot of work going on in your upper back, and you might feel quite a big stretch across the fronts of your chest, your rib cage. Lots of my clients who are quite tight in their abdominals get a nice big stretch down here at the front. So this is Cobra on elbows. What we are looking for is, can you do this pain-free? So can you do this in a way in which you feel your shoulder blades and your arms and your hands working quite strongly, but you're not exacerbating pain? If you don't feel anything working, you're not being strong enough in your hands and forearms in terms of sort of pulling your body against the floor. You almost want to be pulling backwards slightly with your forearms. They're not moving, but that traction on the floor will help you draw the chest through and help crank the shoulder blades back and down. So your arms and your shoulders and your upper back should be working hard. If they're not, you're not quite trying hard enough through your arms, or maybe your hands aren't active enough perhaps. If your lower back is hurting, you're trying to go too high, you're not moving your shoulder blades enough. If your neck is hurting, you're probably cranking your head back rather than moving your shoulders, and you may also find it almost impossible to untense your glutes or your legs or your feet. So that shows you things. If you cannot untense your glutes and your feet and your legs, it shows you that your legs compensate for a lack of shoulder blade movement or thoracic extension. If your lower back hurts, it shows you that your lower back is compensating for a lack of shoulder blade or shoulder blade movement or thoracic extension. Same with your neck. So hopefully you're getting this and realizing, perhaps if you've done this before where maybe you weren't going wrong, it's very much a shoulder blade exercise rather than anything else. You should really feel lots of work going on, like in the backs of your arms and your shoulder blades, and getting a stretch sort of at the front. I'll count us down 30 seconds here because I'm aware that I've been talking so much. Remember the breath. If you can't do this and maintain that calm, easy breath, it's just a bit too much for you right now. So just make a note of that, but back out of the exercise, or try a little bit less hard. So do it so you still feel some work going on, but you're not trying so hard that you're holding your breath. That applies for every single exercise. We're pulling the shoulder blades back and down, and we're also making sure they're as far away from our ears, not like this as possible. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. If it feels too easy, move those shoulder blades more. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that was Cobra on elbows.